Alright, 2 weeks ago another season of anime came to an end, and it was quite a strange season because, well, COVID-19 happened and like half the series meant to be airing ended up being put on hold, and that just kind of left, well, very few series. Still, I managed to watch a few, so here are the shows that I watched and pretty much liked all of them. Yeah, I liked all of these actually. Art. Art is a fictionalized biography of Artemisia Gentileschi, who was an Italian Baroque painter in the 17th century. It's a very good series. It is incredibly good, actually. Art herself is a great main character, and you can tell that writer Yoshida Reiko was inspired by the fact that she is a feminist icon when writing the series, because this anime might be the most explicitly feminist series I have seen. It is all about female empowerment in a time where, well, women had even less space to have power. And yeah, I loved it. It's by 7 Arcs, the studio behind Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha, and a lot of the staff also worked on Nanoha. So definitely check this out. I was amazed. It is my favorite newcomer of this season. Ascendance of a Bookworm. I'll do anything to become a librarian. So this was part 2 of a split season of this series. The first part was back in fall 2019. I didn't watch it then, but I caught up and watched for part 2, and this is really good. This is an isekai about a girl who had just become a librarian. She loves books, and then she died and woke up in a fantasy world that is so far back that the printing press hasn't been invented, and it's fantastic. My isekai gets a bad rep these days because of how saturated the market is with just the same boring web novels, basically. But The Ascendance of a Bookworm is really something special and different there. It stands out. It's just a very charming series. It gets into some interesting politics, and the main characters, of which the main character is named Main, or Mine, is just fantastic. She is hilarious, she is clever, but she's never like overpowered in the sense that isekai protagonists can sometimes be, because she's a kid. She's a little kid, so she needs help from everyone else, and as such it becomes a very social story. Again, like, I absolutely loved it. I'm glad I caught up. I'm glad I watched it. Check it out. The novels and the manga is also localized in English. My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. This was probably my most anticipated show of the season, and I'm sad to say it was not one of my favorites. Again, it's an isekai. It's about a girl who is reincarnated as the villain of an otome game that she played, and in order to try and prevent the endings in which the villain is killed, she tries to change the course of history of the game and accidentally makes everyone, men and women, fall in love with her instead of the main character. It's a very funny premise, and it's also a premise that's been used in several web novels, but the problem is that it doesn't really do anything beyond the initial premise. The main character, Katarina, she is an airhead. She doesn't get that people like her. She always thinks that there's something else going on, and that's the only joke they really have. The girls and the boys will talk about how much they love her, and they will like make plans to like try and steal her away from the other characters, but the main character never gets it. And while that is funny at first, it quickly gets tiresome. And by the time you reach the final episode, it's just annoying that the main character hasn't developed at all on this point. She's still as airheaded and lost about the fact that these characters like her as she was in the first 2 episodes. Princess Connect Redive. So this was what I wasn't intending on watching at first, because I figured, oh, it's another gacha fantasy RPG turned anime with a male lead. I don't like those. But then everyone kept insisting that I should watch it. Everyone's like, no, even the male lead is good. Like, you would really like it. So I was like, fine, I'll give it a shot. And they were right. this is a really funny show. It's essentially a comedy. Lots of people compare it to Konosuba. I don't really agree with that comparison, but they are both essentially parodies of the fantasy RPG. But they're both essentially parodies of fantasy RPG scenarios. And this one is really funny. The characters are great. Pecorin and Carol being my personal favorites. And I was smiling through most of the series. There were some episodes I didn't really care for, that just didn't really work for me. But overall, it was super entertaining. And yeah, I will gladly watch another season if it happens. This was a lot of fun. Tamayomi, the baseball girls. So this is probably the most unfortunate anime of the year so far. This is one of those shows that have actually really good writing. It's a baseball anime focusing on girls. It has both undertones and explicit text of like girls' love. And I really want to recommend it. But oh my god, the animation is terrible. Like, really terrible. I'm not sure what happened with the production on this show, but basically every episode looks like garbage, and some episodes look even worse. It's so unfortunate because the show itself is good. I don't know if it was a budget thing or if it was a schedule thing, but whatever the reason, this show basically got screwed over by its visual quality. And yeah, it sucks because everything else about it is great. And those are my thoughts on the series from spring. There was a few more that finished that I was watching, but none of them I really felt like talking about, and I really hate the new Sakura Wars, but I don't want to really go into that because I didn't finish that anime yet. However, coming up, summer season, so a lot of shows have already started. Some shows have come back from last season. I'm planning on watching Diary of a Days of the Breakwater from last season. That's coming back. Healing Good Preacher is coming back, and that's on Crunchyroll now if you're in the US. Digimon Adventure is coming back. That's really good so far. Decadence is apparently really good. Lapis Real Lights is apparently pretty good. Umayon is a new Uma Musume comedy anime. So yeah, there's some stuff this season. Hopefully it's good. And I guess I'll see you whenever I make another video like this again. Bye.